Alright, so I am going to try and do multiple things in one video, and then when I upload it to YouTube, I'll probably just bookmark different sections of it. That way it's kind of all in one video and easily accessible. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I wouldn't waste your time watching the stream if you're actually sitting there watching it. So I'll go through a couple things that people may find useful. I'd say one of the first ones I would do is a lot of people don't realize, well, a lot of people do, but they don't know how to edit it. There's a lot of these base paint schemes on here already that you can really just recolor. I know the red, green, and blue looks a little ugly, but what you can do is you can split it apart and then essentially color change everything yourself. So I'm just gonna try and be a little organized here. I'm gonna take that out. I'm just gonna delete all these other ones. I just really want to mess with this one. So what you can do is click it. You go to channels. You can click the first color. For this one it'll be red. It's going to change it to that. You're going to click this little dotted circle thing down here. Load channel as selection. Click that. Click back to RGB. I don't know if that step is 100% necessary, but I do it. Go back to layers. You'll create a new layer, the little plus sign. And then you can hit this little, I call it like a little camera. I guess it's a box with a circle in it. You can click that and it's going to create a mask layer for it. So what you can do is click on the left box and you can color it whatever you want. And it's going to change that portion of it. When you're looking at the little small image here, whatever is white is what is getting changed on that. So then you're just going to do that for all three of them. Go back to channels, click green, click the dotted circle, click RGB, back to layers, do another new layer, camera thing again, that'll create another one. I'll change it to, let's just do like blue or something. Flood fill that, and then we'll do the last layer for blue. So blue, dotted circle, RGB, layer, new layer, camera duod, and let's do red. It'll stand out enough. And then I'll just go and I'll delete this out because I don't need it anymore. And you can hold Control and click, and that'll highlight multiples. I'll right click, group from layers. I'll do like paint, scheme. You can color code it if you want. I'll do it orange. That way they show up differently. And then they're all in here, and then as you want to change it, I understand this is pretty freaking ugly, so let's make it look somewhat decent. I'll make this like a gray. Let's go with like that. Let's make the blue like white or something like that. Yeah, that's not hateful for the grand scheme of this. It doesn't really matter. So you can do that on any of those layers. Once you've done it a handful of times, it's pretty efficient. Let's see what you guys, just random chatter there. Something else people were asking about was how to just do lines within it. I know Daniel was asking about it. Cole was asking about it. I'm going to hide this scheme. I'm going to give myself a lighter palette to paint on here. Let's go with just gray, and then I'll do some red lines. So there's a few ways you can do it. I'd say probably the easiest way is if you go over here on the left, if you long click, you have all these different tools. Curvature pen is probably the one you're going to use the most. Essentially, you have the ability to create straight lines or curved lines using this. You can freeform pen it if you got a fairly steady hand, something like this. But then it's going to create all these points, and if you realize you don't like a point, you can just single click it. You'll see a minus sign, and it'll remove it, and then it's going to, you can Control C it. I thought you'd be able to adjust over here, but maybe you can't. Maybe it's just showing you where that line's going. But you can move all these. And as you delete some of those points, it's going to smooth it out a little bit. You can hit escape or enter, and it'll put that line down. I don't have, if you look up here on the top, I currently don't have it set to fill or stroke. Stroke. If you did it red, it's going to fill it red. You can change how thick you want it. 5 makes it thicker. However you want to do it. Pressing enter will drop it. I'll see here. Also hitting escape will drop it there. Zoom in a little bit so you can see it. And then you'll just see it as a shape over here. So that's one way you can do it. Not many people have a steady hand like that. I mean, you can smooth it out by deleting points and whatnot. But you can also go in here and you can hit add anchor point tool. And I believe, yeah, you can add any point you want in here. So you can add another point and you could move this up here, and then you could adjust it, twist it, put your thing down, flip it and reverse it, whatever you want to do. So that's one way you can do it. The way I usually do it, if you're going to do it, is Curvature Pen Tool. Single click will place your first point. If you place the second one, it's going to do it as a straight line. I have on, I'll go up to the settings here shortly so you can see what this is. It essentially is kind of showing you where it's going to put the curve. So we'll put one there. Single click will continue it as a curved line. If you go and double click a point, it's going to make it a straight line. So click it again, it'll make it, double click it, makes it a straight line. Single click will keep it as a curved line. So same thing, you can kind of do this however you want. Keep it going. Obviously, if you're trying to make a more fine point curve or something, you can then double click, makes it a straight line again. Then I want it to be curved. And I'll zig it back here and then enter. And again, I don't have it set with a fill. I don't want fill, I just want it to be stroke. So let's go with like a red stroke. And that'll show you that. If you go to settings here, that setting I was just talking about where it shows you like the projected path, that's what the rubber band is. But yeah, you can do it to draw all kinds of lines. Obviously, you can change how thick you want the line to be. I don't know how a lot of people do it. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. I'll do a fairly simple line and then do like a little bit of a fill. I'll do like a basic line here, a little bit of a curve. Put this here. Zoom out a little bit. And then we'll go there. So say this whole bottom section here, I want it to be one color. I don't know how this is where I might do it a little bit different than other people. I'll go ahead and I'll surround this whole, double click this so it's a straight line. I'll surround this whole area. That way it's kind of one big object. Hit enter. Keep forgetting to do the stroke on it. And that'll fill it in. That way it's one big shape. But then what you can do is, I'll go ahead and rasterize this. Rasterizing it changes it from an object that you can edit to making it an actual. You'll saw that the little box down here went away. So yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to create a layer underneath it. So I'm going to fill in this section. Let's say I'll fill it in gray here, a darker gray. You can use this little magic wand tool here. There's a couple different ways you can do this. I need it to be on the shape. So you'll see how it kind of goes right up to that, but you need to kind of push it out a couple more pixels underneath that line so that you make sure everything's really good. So you can go to select up here, modify, expand, and then expand it by, I'll do it by 2 pixels. And that's going to push that line out there, and then you can go back to your layer below and flood fill, and then fill it in. And it's a nice smooth looking line there so that you can do it. And you can get pretty intricate with the lines that you put there. I'm just going to do something pretty basic here. That way you can see what it looks like. And I'm just going to do one side of the car. So I would say that's the way I do it. There is some shortcuts you can do in here. Like if you're trying to flip-flop between your colors here, I learned a shortcut for it's just X. We'll flip-flop between the two. It saves you a couple extra clicks. I do know you can go into keyboard shortcuts, and pretty much everything is going to have a shortcut. It's more so a matter of learning where just different stuff is, I guess. It took me a while to figure out the best way to place logos on the car. I might go in here and I'll slap a random logo on here just so I can do some crazy things to it. Let's go with the Dirty Mo Media logo, which, there we go. I was going to say it froze my computer at first. So I'm going to copy this over. I'll just slap it here just in the middle of this gray. I'll just make this white. Fill in here. Alright. Move it down here. I missed some. More flood filling. Just going to get the layer above. So you can go up to edit. Transform is where the majority of your editing for this stuff is. Rotating, if you want to rotate it to flip it to the other side of your car. Scale to resize it. I'll do that. Just going to move it. I'll put it here. Why not? Just for instructional purposes. And that's how you can easily do that. If you don't want to flip it 100%, 180 degrees, you can do rotate and manually rotate it however you want. If you're going for something precise, you'll see up here at the top, you can really put in, so you could do like positive 3% to make sure you have it 100% perfect on both sides. Alright. So we got that there. I'm trying to think what other things people have asked me about. I'm going to save the spec map for last. A lot of it is just, like, I was dreadfully slow when I first started doing this. And then I just got a bit faster with it. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll work on the spec map now. Essentially for the spec map, you want to organize your scheme into kind of how broken down it's to what you want to be affected in what way. Usually what I'll do is I'll have all of my logos in one folder, or in one group, and then I'll have any stripes or design things kind of broken up first. So for this one, I think I just want to have, I'm going to make this light gray. I'm going to make it really, really matte. I think this dark gray, actually, I'm going to flood fill the Dale Jr. logo real quick. And I try and keep everything super organized. Drives me crazy when people just have stuff all over the place. I'm gonna make this dirty mode media. I'm gonna make it red. I'll make that red, and then let's make part of it like pink or something. And then I'll make part of it maybe like a teal or something. Ugh. Well, it's not flood filling it very well. Whatever. Because it's 100% filling the pixels. Right, let me undo that. So essentially when you flood fill it like that, it's going to fill every pixel in, so you won't have like this feathering or whatever you call it on the edge. It kind of makes it look better. But what you can also do is, up where the magic wand is, do the second one, quick selection tool. You can go around it and just get this whole thing in there, and then surround it, and then flood fill it, and it should look a lot better doing it that way. Let's see if that looks better. Yeah, that looks a lot cleaner. So I'm gonna make this dirty mode media logo extremely chrome, and then I'll do some kind of an in between for the red stripe and the gray here, just to kind of break it up. Let me get rid of that layer. So all these layers look like they're in paintable area, which I need to get them out of there. So I'm gonna split this all out. It's kind of hard to tell just by looking at this, but they are within that paintable area. So now you see them slide all the way over here. And then I'll just move them back to the bottom where they're on their own. So, logo. Shapes the line. Just a red line. Dark gray fill. And then base paint. I guess I just could have left it base. Whatever. Alright. So I'm going to, for starters, I'm just going to delete this whole red folder for me. For what I'm about to do, it's going to be unnecessary. So we'll just go ahead and trash can it. Group and contents. Go ahead and save the main paint scheme. Go in here. I've got a lot of random shit in here. Just gonna delete all this. Lets me select. Why won't it let me? Stupid. I need to select all. Whatever. I'll just name it over in my folder. Card num 114753. Yes, just 24-bit. You do it as 32-bit if you have an alpha channel. Don't get me and Daniel started on that. Very source subject. So then I'm going to right click this. I'm going to merge group, which is going to make that entire layer all one layer. A lot of times my logos, I'll have it treated essentially the same as all this other stuff, so I'll just kind of merge it all into one. This one I'm going to do a little bit differently. red line. I'll do something with the red line. Maybe I'll make it really chrome. Darkville gray. Alright. So I'm going to go, while holding control, click all these. So all 5 are highlighted. Drag it down to the plus sign. That's going to make a copy of all those. Going to open a Spec Map folder. And keep in mind, like, I have now messed up the original paint scheme file. Usually what I'll do is I'll save my paint scheme as one PSD file, and then I'll save a copy of it as Spec Map. That way I can go and just kind of edit them individually. But I'm going to drag this group of them up into red channel metallic, and then the bottom group of them is going to go into green channel roughness. Need to turn this on. It's going to start turning stuff all kinds of crazy colors. Go into your folder here. Base paint and parts are 2 files that are in every single one of these. Base paint you can delete because you're kind of already doing that. And then you'll move parts just to the top, so everything is on top of it. Same thing for this folder. Base paint can go away. Parts, you can move it up to the top. I didn't realize this till the other day. When Ryan was screwing with it, you can actually spec map the parts, like the headlights and stuff, to just be differently. That way, if you wanted your Daniel, I hate you. Do not ask about the alpha channels. We do not talk about those. It's like Fight Club. Don't talk about alpha channels. So I will go in here. Now I got a lot of different things. I'm going to use a reference point here. You'll see me reference this quite a bit. Really, you're going to look at this metallic scale here with this color thing, and then the roughness. So these 2 layers. The top ones would be if you're making it metallic. Obviously, far left is chrome. And then non-metallic, far right, is going to be essentially matte. So parts, I'm just going to leave the same. I'm not going to do. Actually, no. Parts I'll treat as if they're logos on the car. So for anything in the red channel, this first group that I'm going to alter, different people will tell you different things. Usually it's a 0% or 100% type of thing. You're either going to have it, going back to this, you're either going to have it 0%, which is non-metallic, so you don't want it to be metallic at all, or it's going to be 100%. You want it to be really metallic. You can tinker with some of the stuff in between, and you may get some pretty cool effects, but we're not going to do that for this. So, the parts, I don't want to be metallic, so I'm going to double click it. It's going to bring up this screen. I'm going to click color overlay, click it here. You'll click your little gray box here. Right here where the B box, and if you move this scale up and down, you'll see it change that percentage. That's essentially looking at that scale I just showed you. So these parts I don't want to be metallic at all, so I'm going to change this 0%. And it's going to change it all to black. And you're going to start seeing the paint scheme start changing a little bit, and it'll add the color overlay on here. Paintable area, same deal. I want it to essentially be treated like a sticker almost, so color overlay. Here, we're going to do that 0%. Alright, this logo now, that's where we're talking. I want to make this kind of crazy, so I'm going to make this 100% metallic. Double click it, color overlay. We're going to change to 100%, or you can move it up, or you can just type in 100. 100% metallic. That's going to be 100% white for this layer. The red line, I want that to be metallic as well. So double click, color overlay, 100%. Okay. the dark gray fill, which was the fill down here at the bottom. I don't remember what I said I wanted to make that. I said I wanted to make it something kind of an in-between, I think. So you know what? I'll experiment with it. I'll make this 50% just to see what it does to it. So 50%. And then the base paint, I wanted to make that extremely matte. So again, that's going to be another 0%. Because ultimately, when I get to the next part of it, on that bottom scale, the matte was to the far right, which is 100%. So here, 0%. All right, that section of it's done. As you can see, it's done all kinds of crazy colors to it. I'm going to move to the green roughness channel. So I'll pull up. Now we're talking about this bottom scale. This is where it's going to control where I put things. So all that stuff that I said I didn't want to be metallic, I'm going to use the bottom scale. A guideline that I kind of came across and it seems to work well is 37%. So 3 and 4, 37% kind of right in here is a good number to use for like logos and stuff you want to appear as like stickers on the car. So that's what I'm going to do for those layers. 100% matte. So for the body fill, I'm going to go 100% on that. And then the parts that I want to be really chrome, we're actually going to, since we were using the metallic layer on that, we're over here. And then I want it to be extremely chrome, so I'm going to end up going over here. So do that real quick. Parts, I'm going to treat that like a sticker, so I'll do those at the 37% I was talking about. Okay. Paintable area, same deal. Color overlay, should save the last setting you did, so already good on that. Logo is going to be the one different one, so I wanted that extremely metallic. Pull up the scale again real quick. That's going to be a 0, so I'm going to do 0% on this. Drag it down, 0%. Okay. You're going to see it's all pink. Essentially, each color you see on here is going to be treated differently by the light when it hits it. The red line, I wanted that to be really metallic or chrome as well, so same deal, 0%. The dark fill gray, this is the one I was just kind of experimenting with, so we'll see what it does if I do. I'll do 50% on here as well. I don't know where you end up on this scale because if we're up here, this is just experimental layer, so we'll do 50%. Who the hell knows what it's going to actually look like. Okay. And then base paint, pull scale again. It's the bottom scale. Want it really matte, so we're going to go 100% on here. So color overlay, 100%. Again, it does all kinds of crazy things to your color. I know the Spec Map, you look at it and you're like, what the hell am I looking at? Confusing. The game knows what to do with it. So we're going to go in here. Alright, car dome. When you're making it the spec layer, just change it, the center part to spec. Again, you can just do 24-bit. Hit OK. See what it looks like once we get into the game. Yes, we get to. If I was on it, I could have probably had this preloaded and stuff, so there's less loading. I could always edit it, but I'm not going to. Passenger side's where we're screwed with it, so I'll do. Found Hempstead, Miami has a pretty good camera angle from the get-go. Daytime. consider this the commercial break. I want to try and get this done before the Xfinity race. I can watch that a little bit. Alright. So when it's creating the spec map, it essentially takes those two TGA files that you had there, and then it will create a .mip file. That's what you end up uploading to Trading Page for the spec map. But I'll go in here, test, Control R, sit here for a couple seconds, escape out. If this is done right, yeah. See how chromy the we're gonna move the camera here a little bit. Yeah, so see how chromy the dirty mode media line is, and the red stripe, and then it's a little bit harder to tell with a lighter color, but the light gray is just really bad. Something that does happen is usually your color that you're trying to replicate, you have to go a lot lighter on your TGA file than what you think it's going to do. The spec map's going to darken it up quite a bit. I'm going to make a subtle change here so we can kind of compare. So I'll go back in here. So that, let's say that dark gray fill that I was experimenting with, I'll go back to my red channel. Let's edit that. Let's make it really metallic. I mean, it's going to do something pretty crazy, I'm sure, but we're going to make it really metallic. Hit OK. OK. Go down here. Same deal. Now this is, got to remember the other scale to make it 100% chrome. We're going to go 0. And usually if I am trying to tweak something ever so slightly, I'll go in like 5% increments, save it, reload it, look at it, see what kind of change it made. But we're going to go pretty extreme. So save as. Back in here, Control R. Patiently waiting. Actually, I might have to get back into the car for it to do it. Yeah, let's do that. Control R. Alright, see how, man, that almost looks like, but see how much darker it is once I have it on here? But that almost looks like a vinyl, or I don't even know how to describe that. But that's kind of roughly how you do it. That's the way I do it. I find it pretty easy, but you can tweak those numbers. I could take it and on the bottom scale, if I didn't want it to be chrome, let's see if I can just open this back up. So the opposite end of chrome is still going to be metallic, but we'll move it to the other end of the scale. So I'm in my green channel, double click it, color overlay, 0% currently, let's change it to 100%. Do the same thing, see what kind of effect it had here. It might lighten it up even, don't really know. Test, Control R. I think it's just such a dark color that now you just don't really see much of a change. But yeah, experiment with it. That's how I do it on the stream. I don't know how many people are actually watching this, but if there are further questions, I can do another video at some point. But I think I covered a lot of topics there. Catch you guys later.